Hey everyone, it's Vanessa Rachels and welcome to my channel, or welcome back. Thanks for joining me for another one of my videos. This month is my May bullet journal setup. So for this month we're going with a flower theme, and I'm starting off by doodling some flowers as like a reference page just so I can refer back to something to see like what doodles I liked, which ones I didn't like for flowers to put into my bullet journal. And like you'll see which ones I did like and which ones I didn't like based on like which ones I did use in my bullet journal versus the ones that I left out and didn't use. Anyways, the thought process behind why I'm doing flowers as my May bullet journal setup, well, I was like, well, there's that quote where it's like April showers bring May flowers. Well, it's my May bullet journal, so May flowers it is. And so yeah, that's basically why and how I came up with this month's theme. And anyways, as you see here, now I'm just prepping all of the stuff that I'm going to be using for my May bullet journal setup. So I'm just cutting out some flowers and any paper that I liked that I thought would fit the theme I put to the side. And I just really like to prep all my materials because I just find it really streamlines my work when I'm putting my bullet journal together. So preference of mine, you do you, but I definitely like to just get all the prepping over and done with. Plus I really feel like having all my supplies on the side and then like limiting myself to only that supplies helps me create like cohesive spreads, because then I don't have too many options to play around with. And so I feel like if I had too many options, then my pages would look kind of messy and broken. And so that really helps me with that aspect. Anyways, if you're not new to my channel, then you know I always start all of my bullet journals with a quote page. And so here it is, my quote page. And instead of like writing out a quote for this page, I had this little piece of paper, as you can see, that has a quote on it and it has flowers on it. So I was like, this is the most perfect opportunity to use this. And the quote reads, "I want you to feel beautiful today." And I think it's just like a really nice reminder that beauty comes in all shapes and sizes, and there's no one standard of beauty. And then I didn't think the spread looked completed until I added some doodles, so I doodled a little flower in there. And the flower is one of the ones that I had on my little cheat sheet of flowers that I doodled at the beginning of this video. And I'm really quite happy with how the doodle turned out. I think the doodles look really cute and really do make a difference on the page. And so now we're on to the next spread, which is just the May title page. And I used my Artist's Loft watercolor dual tip marker to write out the word May. And I'm actually so happy I got one of these pens because they honestly make it so much easier to do calligraphy. And not just easier, but like just a lot faster as well. And if you have doubts in yourself about doing calligraphy, I mean, if I can do an okay job of it, I believe you can too. It honestly just takes some practice, because I used to be pretty horrendous at it, and now I feel like I'm okay at it. I don't think it looks fabulous, like I make mistakes when I do it and it doesn't always look as like the way I want it to look, but I'm definitely making improvements, so just don't give up. Anyways, here I'm just going back and forth and doing some extra doodles on both of the pages, and I'm adding some white accent to the May writing just to kind of make it pop more, because I felt like it was kind of just like blending in, so I just thought it needed a little pop. And yeah, the doodles I feel really complete the pages. Without the doodles I feel like it looked fine, but not as complete as it does with the doodles in place. And I mean, you can never have enough flowers when you're doing a flower themed spread, so we're just adding flowers everywhere. And so here we are going on to the next spread now. So my next spread is my monthly to-do list, as well as my brain dump those two share a page. They used to not share a page, but it just felt like it was just, I left too much space for myself. Like I didn't need that much space, so I think splitting the page in half and doing it like that works a lot better for me. Anyways, I'm using that watercolor dual tip marker again to write the titles, and I kind of drew out these cute little banners on this paper that I'm now cutting out that I'll paste into my bullet journal. And I really like how they turned out. I think they're super duper cute. And I always find that these two spreads are very helpful to boost my productivity and organization, because my monthly to-do, I can write down all the big tasks I need to get done that month, and so I don't kind of get sidetracked with smaller tasks, and my brain dump is just a nice spot to dump anything I need to dump. Like I dump grocery lists in there if I need to go to the grocery store, or I plan out my next bullet journal or jot down ideas or anything. Like anything goes on the brain dump section of this page, and it's just nice to kind of have a spot to put that all, I guess. And then anyways, we're using washi tape again, and we're doodling because we gotta do that on every single page, okay? It makes the page look complete, so like, what can I say? And now we're jumping straight into my weekly spreads. As you can see, I didn't do like a habit tracker or a mood tracker, or even like a large calendar, because I created my large calendars when I set up my bullet journal at the beginning of the year. So I have big calendars at the beginning, and that's also where I track my habits. So if you stay till the end of the video or fast forward to the end of the video, you'll see how I track my habits, and I do it this way because it's just a lot more functional for me. Anyways, this is my first weekly spread for May, and I quite like the aesthetic of it and how it looks. I kind of went with the pink flowers here and some pink and gray accents, and I think it turned out really nice. And as you'll see throughout this video, all of my spreads for my weeklies look a little different, but they all have that similar theme of flowers to them. And I also kept all the doodles the same throughout the May bullet journal setup, because we needed to keep some stuff cohesive because we were changing other things, just so that it all looked like one cohesive setup. Unless of course you weren't going for that like cohesive look, well then that is also totally fine. Anyways, for each of these spreads I always put everything down and move it around until I like how it looks, and then I take a picture of it with my phone so that I don't forget what it looks like once I move it all off and then glue it down. So it's just like a nice reference to look back, because I don't know, like maybe you'll remember where you had everything after you take it off, but like me personally, I definitely did not remember where I put stuff. I had an idea, but I did not completely remember, so taking a picture of it was super duper helpful for me. And then you'll also see that like these weekly spreads are sometimes more than just a week, and that's mostly because I wanted to use the space up in the best way possible. I didn't really want to leave unused space because I personally don't want to set up another bullet journal midway through the year. I want it to all fit into one journal. Anyways, I totally want to know what you guys think about this mixed media kind of look for a bullet journal, because I really like it, but I want to know what you guys think, because my previous videos I didn't do mixed media. I just drew things and doodled, and so this is completely different than my other bullet journal videos that I've created thus far. And so yeah, give me some feedback if you like this, because this is what I think I'll probably be going with for my next bullet journals. Like this is probably where I'm going to go with my channel, and so your feedback would be awesome, because if you don't like this, then I might reconsider, because at the end of the day I also want to create videos and spreads that you guys also like. And now we're moving on to my second last spread of my May bullet journal setup. So we kind of went with some darker colors, some blacks and grays, and then yellow flowers for this spread. And I honestly had so much fun creating these spreads this month and kind of being creative with all this mixed media. And honestly, for me, I don't know about you, but the more aesthetically pleasing my bullet journal is to me, the more likely I'm to use it, and like the more productive I'm going to be. So that's kind of why I bullet journal, because it helps me be productive on top of like keeping me organized. And I like bullet journaling more than just like buying a calendar or a journal that's already pre-made, as that is just so customizable to whatever I needed to do for me, and I really like that about bullet journaling. And I mean, I find it really relaxing to create my bullet journals as well, and it gives me kind of that like me time to be creative every month and to create something. And being somebody who likes to create things and be kind of artistic, I guess you could say, it's really nice to have this like ritual of creating a bullet journal every month, so I can be creative every month and kind of fulfill that need of wanting to create stuff. And ooh, I don't know if I forgot to mention this earlier, or maybe I'm gonna mention it twice now, that all the supplies I'm using is listed in the description down below. If you are curious as to what I'm using or you want to know, it is down there, so check her out. Anyways, I'm just finishing up a flower doodle here on this page before we go on to my last and final spread of my May bullet journal. So with this final spread, we're going with a bunch of pinks and shades of pink and just pink everything for this spread. And throughout this whole entire bullet journal, I'm using Mod Podge and a paintbrush to glue all of the paper down. And I definitely recommend that if you're using Mod Podge and a paintbrush, that you wash your paintbrush right after you use it, because I didn't, and now my paintbrush is like a freaking hockey puck, and I need to figure out how to get all this glue out of it. So I'm gonna have to like try maybe like paint thinner or something, I'm not sure, but I'm gonna have to try to like salvage this brush, because like the brush is so hard, all the bristles are so hard that I can't even like use it to glue anymore, because it's like using a popsicle stick to try to glue, because it's just like a big chunk of hardness. So yeah, a tip to you from me, from my mistakes: don't do that. You will regret it. Just learn from my mistakes. You live and you learn. Anyways, I just can't wait for May to dig into this new spread that I created and to plan in it and all that jazz. And honestly, time flies. I can't believe it's already almost May. I feel like this year is going to be over before I even know it. Anyways, we're at the part of the video where I'm going to show you quickly how I set up and do my habit tracking and like my mood tracking, which I don't do mood tracking, but you could do mood tracking the exact same way if you wanted to. I just don't see a need to track moods. So anyways, here is my calendar key, and so these are kind of what I like to track every month, and I have it all color coded, so it's like easy to take a quick glance and see what habits I have done. And like I left some room so I can add in other habits that I think of that I want to track later throughout the year. And so you can see like I have like when I work and the habits and their designated colors. And I don't know, I really like tracking my habits in this way. And that concludes my May bullet journal setup video. We're just doing a quick flip through of all the spreads created. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and to hit that notification bell so you never miss a creation with Rach. And thank you so much for joining me, and until next time, see you later.